can't help but remember. Who knows what triggers today, 18 years later? The game was war. The prize? Survival. The toys were guns and tanks, motors and grenades, white phosphorus. I remember it well. Charred body, shades of black, shades of white. A 10-year-old boy, dying. War, a term that conjures up visions of firefights and battlefields, not mass casualties, traumatic injuries, and triage choppers, but worrying reminder of life and death, damaged and disabled young men, brought to a different fight. The fight for one more life. The struggle for one more day. Some days, I can't help but remember when these very young men, without their arms or legs or half their faces, would look to me for hope, encouragement, strength, or peace. When hidden behind my smile of, it'll be okay, was the burden of the lie that knew it wouldn't. Anger. That anger. The silent, stopped anger. The anger at death. The anger at carnage. The anger at the demands that could not be stopped. The wounds that could not be healed. And the tears that could not be shed. Yes. Some days I can't help but remember. Standing there, surrounded by beds filled with young men, hearing the cries, their whispered requests, relief from the pain, some moral support, a minute or two of extra time. But there never seemed to be enough time. There never seemed to be enough hands. There never seemed to be enough me to respond to the cries and the sighs. So soon I discovered, with no time for tears, become numb to the pain, become numb to the cries, become numb to the death, and walk away from grief. And some days, I can't help but remember reaching out to find a friend, to hold a hand, to seek some peace, to find some respite from this war. Yet, even then, I soon did learn there is no such thing as a respite from war. And I realized that some don't come back from their last fight or their last flight. But I didn't say I need a day off because my friend died. After all, in Vietnam, someone's friend died every day. So I went on knowing a part of my youth died every day. Part of my soul was lost, learning so clearly without a doubt there is no such thing as a respite from war. Some days, I can't help but remember that when I came home, when I finally came home, I came home to a life that was no longer real. Sometimes I tried to explain. Others, I just stayed mute, thinking at first that they wouldn't understand or they didn't really want to know, realizing that they wouldn't understand. Then I discovered I couldn't play. Strangely, I found I couldn't laugh, and oddly enough, I didn't want to work. Doctors didn't come on the first call like they did in Vietnam. That's all it would take, one call to say, I need you here now. And there they would be, because they knew if I said I need you here now, a life was at stake, or I wouldn't have called. And some days, I can't help but remember, realizing that I really didn't care that the lady down the hall was complaining of pain. Gallbladder, after all, was not the same pain you get from shattered arms, legs, and souls. But I knew I was wrong, deep down, somewhere. But I also knew and couldn't understand why they didn't know that people over there were dying. Dying and continually dying. They didn't seem to know. They didn't seem to care. They seemed to think I should be glad to be home. And strangely, I found I didn't want to be.